a small hydration break. Alright. What do we got? Lost and found. There's nothing of interest in the lost and found box right now. Free! You take a look at the current offerings on the free cart. In general, these books don't tend to pique your interest. They're too boring for the library, after all. You're surprised when one particular cover catches your eye. You vaguely remember the author's name from a lecture in anthropology last fall. Not to be confused with the lecture in anthropology last fall, where you submitted a 2-page resume that named all of your written works and was bound by a creased corner. After a quick wiping with your hand, which only serves to spread the grime onto your body, you open it and read. Institutions, even those established originally with the object of securing equality, peace, and mutual aid, in the course of time become petrified, lose their original meaning, come under the control of the ruling minority, and become a constant constraint upon the individual in his endeavors for further development. Anarchism, I can read. Anarchism owes its origin to the constructive, creative activity of the people by which all institutions of communal life were developed in the past, and to a protest, a revolt against the external force which had thrust itself upon these institutions. The aim of this protest being to give new scope to the creative activity of the people that it might work out the necessary institutions with fresh vigor. Well, this is surprisingly interesting. You never know what topics will grab you, especially when you're avoiding work. Unfortunately, your brief handling of the book causes it to crumble into dust, leaving with only sparse knowledge you've already collected. Oh well, you better get to work anyway. Anarchism. New topic. Looks like there's another class going on in there. It's not one of yours. Fine. You're waiting for a good opportunity to catch this guy's name before you start a conversation with him. You're so sure you'll get caught not knowing it one day, outing you to the whole staff as the coward you are. Hi, Brittany. Morning, Mara. What are you up to today? Oh, some really stimulating shelf work, I'm sure. That's true. These are exciting times at the library. I feel guilty for being sarcastic when Brittany so clearly means it. Have you checked out the free book cart by the entrance? I added a bunch of stuff this morning. Yeah, I actually found something cool in there. Awesome. Which book did you find? I don't remember the title. It was interesting, though, and it crumbled in my hands after I opened it. That doesn't really narrow it down. Well, I'm tasked with carrying its knowledge now. Wonderful news. Keep it safe. By the way, Mara, I'm restarting my daily book curation project soon. I know finding books can be overwhelming, so I'll be offering a fresh recommendation every day. Cool. I'm afraid my first pick isn't ready yet, but come back tomorrow if you want to see what I'm offering. Will do. You do not wish to fraternize with patrons. You take your position here quite seriously. Besides, you're pretty sure you saw some nude photos of this girl by accident once, and those would somehow be the first words out of your idiot mouth if you ever spoke to her. If I... Better not disturb this card without talking to your boss first. Who knows why they've been set out like this? You'd rather keep the mystery of the studious patron alive. Why talk to him and spoil an image so peaceful? Do not wish to make yourself known to these students. It's better this way. Rather talk to Jana, your boss, before you sit down at the computer. You're technically supposed to be working this morning. You've yet to experience the critical mass of sociological pressures that would cause you to read Malcolm Gladwell's The Tipping Point. This journal is published by a school itself and is meant to highlight the visual, written, and performing works of its graduating class of 2002. You and the rest of the school will get around to looking at it eventually. This is a collection of popular fantasy titles. Prominently featured is Neil Gaiman's dark fantasy Coraline and Aragon by Christopher Paolini. The other was famously written when the author was still in high school. The sight of this book makes you debilitatingly anxious, confirming your worst fear that your time as a writer is already come and gone. You'd prefer to pretend it didn't exist. You still haven't shaken the sting of Anthony Bourdain's words about vegetarians in Kitchen Confidential. Angels and Demons by Dan Brown is the kind of book that paralyzes your opinion. Daniel calls it a perfect pop object, while Rosetta sneers at its male-leaning commercial and dominance. This one. Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants seems like a book you could easily trade in for a 400-page Oxford classic, which you could then trade in for a massive Russian epic, which you could then leave under a pile on your nightstand for the rest of your life. This was a tipping point. It's occasionally been your job to curate the featured books table at the library. The current selection, not yours, features a disproportionate amount of genre fiction. The library is clearly trying to move books. Follow the money, man. Alright. Cart with precarious stack of books has been set out by one of the library employees. Alright, fine. Its chairs are new, uncomfortable, and rarely used by the library patrons. You suspect this cool item is a colorful showpiece for the campus tours. The hard fabric reminds you of perfect ties and your old friend Simon, whose home, owned by a rich and absent lover, was likely furnished in defiance of life. Hey, reference to Simon. It's your boss, Jana Schwartz. She's the senior librarian at the Suck Students Center. You report to her at the start of every workday. Jana is kind, soft-spoken, and shockingly patient. She encourages you to work on your own writing in your free time, and she has fielded more than one of your last-minute sick days with credulity and concern. This semester, you are trying hard not to disappoint her. Mara, good morning. Hi, Jana. You will be happy to know I had a good night's sleep. Thank goodness for that. You know, you need more sleep than you think. I know. How can you know that when you think you know how much you need? I'm already mentally inflating what I think I need. Well, you need more than that. That's just not possible. I'm afraid I've got quite a stack for you today. We're doing some spring cleaning on top of giving campus tours all weekend. This is bad news. The morning downtime is one of your $8 an hour job's greatest perks. You're needed so infrequently that you've grown to depend on it. You plan to finish writing your paper for Walsh's class this morning. A large cataloging job will tie you up for hours, making a seamless jump from work to the classroom impossible. Come over here. I'll show you the damage. Just the, defeat, no. This is only the first card. I've got more in the back. When's the last time these books saw the light? Shouldn't we be getting rid of them? They are all pretty old, it's true. I pull a lot of them for donation, but most of these books are still germane to our programming. I'll be by the entrance if you have any questions. Thanks, Mara. You know logically, and at least somewhat from practice, that you shouldn't be repelled by ancient texts. You're here to study the classics, after all. Still, there is something viscerally dull about dusty old books. As objects, they stir nothing in you. They can't compete with the potency of the now. Even the most mundane new works can evoke the flutter of life, while these objects sit dead, inert, a reminder of decay. You wonder if Jana would accept any reasonable excuse to beg off from the assignment. It would have to be a pretty good one, though. Jana Schwartz. You really don't want to sort through these books. There must be some way to convince Jana they don't need to be sorted today. Well... I didn't want to leave. Cursor? Do you mind? Oh, what's up? Not much. Doing fine. Right, let me know when you're done with sorting those books. I will. If you want to avoid sorting the aforementioned books, you'll have to suggest an alternative to Jana. She'll expect you to do your job otherwise. What if I ask about the city? What do you want to know? I've lived here my whole life. How does it compare to the rest of the world? How can I possibly answer that if I've never lived anywhere else? Oh, right. That said, I'm pretty sure it's the best place on Earth. Movies. Been so busy lately, I can't remember the last movie I've seen. Let me think. Oh, I saw this one called The Family Man, Nicolas Cage. Is that the one where he wakes up and suddenly has a wife and kids? Yes, it's sweet. Did you see it? Nah, I don't really like those movies with invisible overnight magic. Invisible overnight magic? Yeah, like the magic isn't represented by an image or a practitioner of magic or world where magic is established. It's usually just some cheap sound effect in the score, like a sparkle. A sparkle. Yeah, like when Nicolas Cage goes to bed, you hear a little sparkle in the music to let you know his life has changed. I don't remember. That's probably how they did it. I hate that. Where did the magic come from? A higher moral power? God? So the audience needs to accept the existence of God to accept the premise. Yeah, I don't like that. I wouldn't say you need to accept it. Maybe just don't be overtly hostile to it. Yeah, I don't like that. There must be a lot of art you don't like then. There certainly is. Why, just yesterday. Always nice talking to you, Mara. Anarchism. So I actually had an idea. Yes. No! Oh, how exciting. I skipped the line. I double-clicked. How exciting. I'm always asking student workers to bring me their ideas, but none of them ever do. I would love to hear what you have in mind. Thank you. So how do you want the books to be cataloged? The thing is, I don't. And I got the idea straight from the library itself, from the works of Peter Kropotnik. Peter Kropotnik, the anarchist? Ah, so you've read him. It's been a long time, I'll admit, but what does it have to do with a library? Jonna, let me ask you something. Say you're at a dinner party with a big group of people. Okay? When the meal is over and it's time to clean up, do you instinctively help gather up the dishes? Why, sure. Then you may already be an anarchist. It's intrinsic in all of us, you see, to contribute to society free of hierarchical bounds. Is the Dewey Decimal System a hierarchical bound? I mean, sure, it helps people find a book, but does it help them find a book? There are hundreds of fascinating works on these shelves, each collecting dust in their appointed place. Books just waiting to blow some students' mind. I agree with you there, but it's up to the librarian to guide them to the right book. Again, with the hierarchies! Students are perfectly capable of motivating themselves to learn. In the wake of this declaration, something appears to shift behind Jonna's eyes, as if some previously dormant sentiment, some forgotten dream, has been reignited. Well, Mara, if you have an alternative in mind, I suppose we don't need to sort those books. Great! Thanks, Jonna! I won't take up any more of your time. You'll bring me your proposal then, I trust? Huh? Your plan for restructuring the main stacks. I imagine you're looking for a self-managed approach. Yes. Great. Well, why don't you get started on that while the library is still quiet? We will have to deal with the books soon, of course. Can you present it to me tomorrow? Sure thing. Perfect. That should be plenty of time to organize what you've previously considered so thoroughly already. Should be. Great, thanks, Mara. Glad to see you taking the initiative like this. What on earth have you gotten yourself into? This is gonna be way more work than sorting those books would have been. Your stomach churns with the thought of letting Jonna down with such a cheap scheme. You're gonna have to see this through somehow. Alright, topics, projects. Well, you are in school after all. It was just a matter of time before you'd get an assignment, right? All of your writing projects will appear here along with all the information you'll need to submit them. You can access this menu anytime by clicking the pen and paper in the icon bar. More on this later when it's time to write. For now, it'll be pushed to the jumble at the back of your mind where all non-urgent matters go. Anyways, it seems you have the morning free. You can finally get online and prepare your schoolwork in no particular order. Oh hey, there's like an autosave. Nice. What's this? Make yourself known. Realize these two students because they're always together, always using computers to scan their photography work. One time you indulged your curiosity and peeked on one of the students' pages. It was a series of artfully nude photos of the other student sitting mere feet away. Not a day when the other student was the one scanning. Now, although none of these people know you or the images you've seen, you try to avoid looking or speaking to any of them now, reasoning that you already unwillingly involved yourself in something. Aha! This time the photos also new were of a young woman who you will also recognize as a frequent patron of the library. Aha. I can replay some lines if I accidentally skip them. I might do a mix of mouse and controller. You power on the iMac and log into your student account. Though a novel and coveted device just a few years ago, this computer has grown creaky with repeated use. But for your uses, writing and printing, email, messaging, and browsing the web, it does just fine. Browse. Do you have time for web browsing this morning after a quick calculation of whether you deserve this? And I do. You navigate to the Blowtorch Media blog, your go-to authority on pop culture and media. You quickly scan the week's album reviews to see if any new releases have garnered the coveted 1000% rating or even a close contender within the 900+ area. These albums tend to be of great cultural and historic significance to the people who read the Blowtorch review blog. Fortunately, there are no new classics this week, but a couple of reviews in the 800 range catch your eye, and records of this caliber rarely let you down. If you want to download some new music at home, better make note of it. Music. You'd better go back to the things you actually meant to do on the computer. You could sit here and read about albums you don't intend to listen to all day. Search. About music. There's much buzz on the internet about MP3s and their impact on the music industry. In recent years, record labels have been at war with the various peer-to-peer networks that freely distribute their tracks. As of this month, the American technology company Apple has opened a digital marketplace for MP3s, selling files legally for 99 cents a piece. You personally expect to stick to piracy, which is effortless, endlessly portable, and at a price that can't be beat. Anarchism. The top result for anarchism is a Usenet forum that claims to have been in operation in some form since the 1980s. You'd hope to find a concise primer in political theory, or at least a rundown of best community practices, but the latest active threads all seem to involve one of the forum's top moderators, the accusations against him, and the naming and shaming of his many defenders. Finding it all indecipherable, you abandon your search. Movies. The top result is the website MoviePhone, which provides, in addition to the aforementioned hotline, reviews, box office insights, and showtimes. The current top-grossing film is the comedy Anger Management, starring Adam Sandler and Jack Nicholson, which enjoyed a record-shattering $42 million in revenue on the week of its debut. The City. A search for the city yields an official government website which links to many subpages providing information about municipal services, urban planning, tourism, and news straight from the mayor's office. All of this apparently appears minuscule next to a splash page memorial the infamous 2001 terror attack on the city's financial center, which claimed nearly 3,000 American lives. You do not seek out information about this event, which happened a year before you came to the city. In real-life discussion, the topic has become so charged, too often leading into weary, patriotic refrains and hysterical warmongering, that you immediately regret its conjuring. Online, the discussion ranges from crazed, racist conjecture to total ironic detachment, a mockery of Lee Greenwood and the Crying Eagle. Occasionally, the line between these two sides can blur. It's sad to you that such a massive loss of life cannot simply be mourned, nor can the why of it all be soberly evaluated. You resent the older generations who have offered you the meager choice of either tune out or be consumed by the madness of the age. Ugh, screw all this! Mara. You just search for all this stuff, man. Much to your relief, there is almost no evidence of your online activity, at least when attached to your real name. A lot of your online communities over the years have disappeared on their own, and to see the rest of your posting trails, somebody would need to know the many and varied usernames you've taken over the years. Good riddance to bad rubbish. Theo something. It's a shot in the dark, but why not? You type Theo sucks into the search engine. You only sort of mean that? Look at that! Theo has a web presence. He was interviewed for the Sucks website last year as part of an incoming student spotlight. It's an awesome school, says freshman Theo Newman, who is part of the university's creative writing program. I'm here 3 weeks and have already made at least 15 friends. Newman. Sheesh. Yeah, I found his name. That was what we were supposed to do there. Messages. None of your top shelf chat buddies are online right now, just a bunch of secondary and non-recurring characters. At any rate, you're working on stolen time. You probably shouldn't chat the morning away. Email. No subject. You sent this email to yourself yesterday. Your paper for class is attached. Open attachment. Your paper is still a jumbled collection of ideas with no real editing, but coming back to it today, it's better than you thought it would be. This is the perfect opportunity to reorganize your thoughts. Time to start writing. Since this is your first time, let's do it together. Whenever you're at the computer, you can work on any of your assignments from this list. It's due today, and you're desperately trying not to think about the proposal, so let's focus on city life and media. Once you've selected your assignment, click on Write to begin working on it. For each assignment, you'll draw from one primary and one secondary topic. For your primary topic, it's generally a good idea to stay relevant to the assignment. So I really want to go off the rails. Yes, well, take it easy with that. Not all assignments will have a clear primary topic, but when they do, your knowledge of that topic is the basis for a good paper. For instance, your media on city life and media, or your paper on city life and media, you should probably choose the city as your primary topic, unless you really want to confuse your professor. That can be pretty funny. Yes, you're quite the puppet master, aren't you, Mara? When your writing is poorly received, it's because you intended it to be that way. Yes? I was just joking about writing something bad. You fell right into my trap. Anyway. Let's select our primary topic. City. Hey, what's this rotating shape? Why, the contents of your brain, of course. I thought the contents of my brain were scrambled eggs. Well, it mostly is, but we're working on that. Every topic in your brain has a chance to be developed. As you further your understanding of a topic, its shape will change. And that number in the lower left of the left corner will go up. Exactly. When in doubt, using at least one well-developed topic can add a lot of flavor to your work. Got it. So complex ideas are better to write with than undeveloped ones. What if all my ideas are undeveloped? Then clearly you haven't been reading, conversing, or experiencing life. All ideas will inevitably develop if you explore the world around you. But my paper is due immediately. I don't have time to experience any more life. That's frustrating, isn't it? On any given day, you will need to choose between collecting more ideas and delivering your work on time. It's on you to make the most of each day while accepting the necessary compromises. So you're saying I can't have absolutely everything and no answers are concretely right or wrong? This sucks. And it will continue sucking with ever-growing urgency until death's sweet embrace. Let's finish picking our primary topic now, shall we? Okay. Hey, my topic changed color. That means you've already used it for this paper. Don't worry, it'll be available when you work on your next assignment. So I can reuse subject in my writing? Sure, why not? All writers are really on the same themes. Just don't lean on one topic too much. You're still finding your creative voice after all. Okay, now that you have your primary writing topic, the fun begins. It's time to combine it with a secondary topic of your choosing. This can be anything you'd like. Anything? I'm on a deadline here. You can always take the safe route and stay relevant. For city life and media, that would mean selecting a media-related topic. Do you see anything like that here? Movies and music. We'll say movies. Movies. Good choice. You have plenty to say about movies, and there's no shortage of city-related film topics to pull from. Alright, let's finish this paper. Well, this isn't bad. Considering you almost lost this time to senseless library work, you've certainly made the most of it. After a quick read-through, you're satisfied with the paper. You are now ready to print. You send your file to the library printer. Once it comes out, you staple it together and take it with you. Well done. You finished your assignment in time for class. There's a good student in you yet. Here. One paper is about all you have time for today. Besides, your brain needs a break. Log out. Shortly after you finish your task, the library fills with students. You are kept busy for the rest of the morning with shelving, tech questions, and checkouts. The school's lost and found box is rarely cleaned out, and its offerings are rarely claimed. Once in a while, after a grace period, because you are so decent, you help yourself to its contents. The cart offers free books that are no longer circulating in the school library. At the moment, nothing here is catching your eye. Alright, I guess that's a couple videos or something. So, before I go to class, I will call it good there. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed the video, consider tossing a like, comment, subscribe, maybe click the bell for notifications. Also be sure to check out the description below. Various links, social media, Discord, come hang out, get notifications there too. And until next time, this is rinimt signing out. Bye!